Hello FD family and welcome back to the UCL review, and what a night of European football it was. There's only one place we can start, Michael McCubbin, with your beloved Manchester United.
Indeed, I'm finally able to wear this replica number for the first time because we're not on a green screen anymore.
And with pride.
And with pride as well.
Not shame.
Exactly. Because, yeah, probably United's biggest European victory in quite some time, at least in terms of the opposition they were facing.
Sure.
Obviously, they recorded a famous victory over Juve in Turin last night, despite all the signs suggesting it would not happen in a million years.
I'd say the major sign suggested it was going to happen, which was you predicted that it would happen.
I did predict it. That is very true.
Even with 15 minutes to go, I think you predicted it.
I did. I think
before the equaliser went in.
Just before the equaliser went in, I said it's coming. I think. I mean, we can maybe cut to a bit of the live stream last night.
Yeah.
If the editor wants to do so, we'll see. But anyway, if not, yeah, go and check it out. And but yeah, like I said, going into the game, Juve looked like very, very heavy favourites. They hadn't conceded a goal in the Champions League this season. They were unbeaten in all competitions, and they hadn't conceded more than a single goal in a game for 13 games.
Wow.
So Juve going into this on hot form, obviously running away with Serie A already, and were running away with this group as well. They probably still will win the group, but United have pegged them back a little bit. In fact, since Man United beat them 3-0 back in 2003, the old lady had only lost one UCL group game at home, and that was 9 years ago against Bayern Munich.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the Juventus Stadium, the Allianz Stadium, whatever it's called, it's been a fortress for that long. I believe about 19 games they've been unbeaten. So that run is now over. And it also means that Chelsea are now the only club in Europe to have gone unbeaten in all competitions.
Wow, they're the last one.
Which is pretty amazing. I mean, obviously they are in the Europa League, so they haven't had to deal with particularly great opposition.
It's a fair point.
At the same time, Liverpool lost to Red Star, so there you go. But having said all that, Juve probably should have had this game wrapped up by the time Mata's free kick went in. They had 23 shots to United's 9, although they only mustered 3 on target. However, Khedira and Cuadrado missed golden opportunities, which would have put the game out of reach if they had gone in. And the XG suggests that as well, 1.8 to 0.7 in Juve's favour. And according to that as well, United's chance of winning was just 12%. It just shows what a late show that was. But who impressed you most, Pato, on the night?
Well, we obviously have to talk about Ronaldo. Yeah. He was pulling out wide a lot of the time. I think because Ashley Young was getting forward but doesn't really have the legs to cover back anymore, there was a lot of space there, and it certainly seemed in that first half like everyone was able to get in behind him constantly. And Ronaldo created 3 chances in this match, pulling out wide and whipping balls into the box. He produced the ball for that Khedira chance where he hit the post. And actually, despite that, he was also their best shot taker. He took 8 shots and obviously scored that incredible volley. So a real all-round threat in this game. And it actually ended a UCL goal drought for him that's lasted over 5 games, 450 minutes for the Portuguese forward. Pjanic in midfield seemed like he had a pretty easy day of it as well. It was helped that Nemanja Matic got booked in the first 10-15 minutes, so they couldn't put on as much pressure as they liked, but he made the most passes on the field with 90% pass accuracy, created 5 chances and made 5 tackles and interceptions. As a result, Man United couldn't really get out their half for long stretches of the game. They only had 1 shot on target before Mata's free kick, which was in the 85th minute. They were constantly having to make clearances. I think the backline made 20 in total, and Lindelof made 8 of those.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So, I mean,
good performance from them.
Yeah, not a lot of tackles and interceptions in that backline, and there were lots of points where they should have put on more pressure. You know, you think of Dybala getting that shot pretty much free in the box, Cuadrado putting it over from about 12 yards out, I think. But on the other hand, when the ball came in aerially, they were able to deal with it, and that was partially as well because Juve didn't bring on Mario Mandzukic until they went 2-1 down in injury time. Absolutely insane. Fellaini, on the other hand, was United's version of Mandzukic. Came on and really just destabilised the defence. He won 3 aerial duels, which is more than any Juventus player managed in the full 90 minutes, and he did it in 9 minutes. So as much as we, criticise Fellaini or criticise Mourinho's use of him, he is undeniably effective. And both of United's goals came from set pieces. It's another guy you have to mark in the box.
Especially the winner, like Fellaini.
Oh yeah, it's just carnage. I mean, he's possibly offside, but it's difficult to tell, I'd say. Anyway, Sandro's 90th minute own goal means that United came back to win a Champions League with 2 goals in the final 5 minutes for the first time since 1999 Champions League
what a night
finals.
that was.
Yeah, great night. Anyway, United are now second with 7 points and look heavy favourites to make it through to the knockout round. They've just got to beat Young Boys and hope Valencia don't beat Juventus in the next round of fixtures, and they will be through. So congratulations to United fans. A little bit lucky on the night, but they all count. And moving on to the knockout stages.
Yeah, hopefully. The next team we're looking at is Manchester City, because they had a big win last night, Pato.
Yeah, they played Shakhtar Donetsk, who have been quite tough recently. I think last season they might have beaten City 2-1. And they're normally pretty tough opposition, but a 6-0 win is Man City's biggest ever in the Champions League. Now, they haven't quite sealed qualification from the group yet because Hoffenheim came back to draw 2-2 in the 92nd minute with Lyon. They've had a pair of cracking fixtures, 3-3 in Germany and 2-2 in France. But if City beat Lyon away in the next round of fixtures, they'll go through as group winners with a game in hand. So that's pretty good. Anyway, great comeback from them in the group stage this year. They obviously lost that game at home to Lyon 2-1. They were a goal down after a minute against Hoffenheim in the second game, but they've pulled it back since then and have had an immaculate record. In this match, result was never in doubt. Goals from David Silva, Sterling, Mahrez, and a Gabriel Jesus hat-trick. Boy, was that needed. Sealed a very straightforward win. Now, after the game, everyone was talking about Gabriel Jesus' first goal, which was a penalty, but Raheem Sterling runs through on goal, kicks the turf, which it doesn't look like he's faked it or anything. He's just kicked the turf. He falls over. And the referee, Victor Kasai, who's a pretty high-ranking referee, he actually reffed the 2011 final between United and Barca, ran over and with no hesitation at all gave it as a penalty. Everyone's gone berserk about this and claimed that Sterling dived and claimed that it was cheating or whatever, whereas to me it seemed like Sterling just fell over and was given a penalty, and what's he going to do? It doesn't really look like
he knew what was going on, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. He quite clearly just kicks the ground. And I mean, Raheem Sterling, I can't imagine seeing Raheem Sterling as like a dirty player in any way, but whatever. Anyway, afterwards, Guardiola to kind of smooth things over said, you know, VAR needs to come in. And Shakhtar Donetsk boss Paulo Fonseca, to his credit, said, it's not because of that penalty that we lost this game. And I don't think anybody can argue with that when you eventually get thumped 6-0.
Yeah, exactly. And especially as it wasn't the first goal of the game as well. It
yes,
didn't exactly change the course of what was going on. But Shakhtar fans can nevertheless be very disappointed in themselves because, well, in their own team, not in themselves, but because, yeah, their side has not had a great UCL campaign this season. They've picked up just 2 points. They've conceded 13 goals in 4 games, which is not what we're used to seeing.
It is quite a tough group.
It is. Having said that, they were in quite a tough group last season.
That's a fair point.
And they beat Napoli, Feyenoord and Man City at home in 17-18 before going out in the last 16. So they're no strangers to having to navigate tough groups.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And they also quite experienced against Man City at this stage. I feel like this is like the 3rd or 4th time
they play each other every season. It's just like a trip home for Fernandinho.
Yeah. It's nice in some ways. But anyway, you know, you've got to give it to City as well. They were absolutely immense. They've now scored 6 goals in consecutive games for the first time since November 1987.
Wow.
Don't even know if they were, you know, a top tier side at that point. That might have been even in 2nd division. But anyway, that is pretty amazing stuff from them. They limited Shakhtar to just 3 shots inside the box, whereas they had 9 inside the area and were clearly lethal in doing so because they put away 6 chances. Trying to think, maybe 1 or 2 of them were from outside the box. But anyway, key performers on the night included Zinchenko, who was playing at left back, 95% pass accuracy, won 2 aerial duels, 1 dribble, 1 shot, 2 key passes, 4 tackles and interceptions. Got that assist for the Sterling goal as well, which you can hardly really count as an assist.
Yeah,
because that was just unbelievable, that strike. So shout out to Sterling for that. Riyad Mahrez was also a key man going forward. 2 tackles and interceptions, 1 dribble, 3 shots, 2 assists, and obviously 1 goal. He's now been involved in 7 goals in 6 Champions League starts at home in the UCL. 3 goals and 4 assists, obviously going back to when Leicester were in the competition a couple of seasons ago. And this season, he's averaging a goal every 88 minutes. which is pretty impressive considering he's just coming into the side. Shows just how well that City front line is functioning as well, would you not agree? He really has hit the ground running at the Etihad. But the man of the match has to be Gabriel Jesus. Obviously 2 of his 3 goals were penalties, but he got a hat-trick nonetheless. Nice little chip for the last one, and he becomes only the 3rd City player to score a Champions League hat-trick after Negredo and Aguero, who has 2 to his name. And yeah, seized his opportunity with the Argentinian being rested up front. Obviously, he has had quite a difficult start to the season. He's only had 1 goal in 11 appearances so far before this game, which is pretty crazy considering how prolific he was last season.
And his shot numbers and his creative numbers look amazing. Yeah. But he just hasn't been able, like in this game he had a ton of shots. I think he had 6, 4 on target. Like, I mean, like he's in the Premier League, like you look at his numbers and you think he should be contributing to about a goal a game. Like they're nuts, really.
Yeah, and in a City team as well, that's
yeah.
even more astounding.
Yeah,
so maybe it is just a bit of a fluke that he's not been scoring recently.
Yeah, you'd have thought so.
Yeah, so hopefully that can pick up. Obviously, Aguero's been the main man as well, whereas he was getting more chances last season as well. So I don't know, like hopefully this can kickstart something for him. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Gabriel Jesus' performance? Should he be starting up front in the Manchester derby? Let us know in the comments below.
Next up, we head over to some European giants. What happened to Real Madrid? Because all eyes are on them at the moment.
They are, and they've actually been continuing their resurgence. They got a 5-0 win away at the Czech Minnows Victoria Pilsen, which takes them to the top of Group G. Considering they can only muster a 2-1 win at home against them, clearly something is going right for them right now. Since El Clasico, they have played 3, won 3, scored 11 and conceded 0. Obviously, 2 of those games have been against very poor sides, especially in the Copa del Rey game as well. I don't know who they were playing.
Melilla.
Yeah, something like that.
In a little Spanish enclave on the north coast of Africa.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that was genuinely like you remember when Real Madrid went and played Bournemouth?
Yes.
It was a bit like that, but if it had been like just a bunch of guys from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Like, it was really not good.
Bournemouth circa 2008 or something like that. But nevertheless, Santiago Solari has managed to take the pressure off since coming in. He's only the 2nd Real Madrid manager to win his first 3 games without conceding a goal since Luis Carniglia in 1957. So that's pretty
what a record.
Pretty crazy.
Probably the best manager ever.
Yeah, exactly. The next Zidane, some are saying already. Wowee. Anyway, the shot numbers do make the game look a little bit more respectable for Pilsen, actually. They actually had 10 to Real's 15, which would suggest that, yeah, Real still maybe, you know, they're still giving up chances, aren't they? Maybe got away with it a little bit last night. But nevertheless, Real were far superior in attack. They had 11 of their 15 shots coming from inside the box, compared to 5 for Pilsen. Benzema also got 2 goals and an assist from 2 shots and 1 chance created, which is, you know, that's nice for him.
Pretty efficient.
Yeah, and considering he had a bit of a slow start. And that brings him to 200 goals for Madrid in all comps, becoming only the 7th player to reach this tally for the club. So, yeah, it's nice for him, isn't it?
Not bad. Yeah, though weirdly, he actually... He wasn't really a powerhouse in attack. You know, as you showed there, he didn't create a lot of chances, didn't take a lot of shots. Toni Kroos got 2 assists and a goal in this game, created 6 chances on the night and had 3 shots. Wow. And Sergio Ramos had 3 shots as well.
Really?
Yes, which kind of, you could say is a good thing in the sense that it meant they could push up and not really worry about leaving space in behind. On the other hand, the fact that Benzema didn't rack up shots in this game is a little bit troubling to me. You know, Bale got 4, so I just kind of think Benzema needs to just shoot more. Like, his ability to get shots off is clearly in decline, and it's a bit troubling for me. Thankfully, Kroos here picked up the slack, and it's unsurprising. He had 10% of the total possession in the game. 10%. Only Ceballos got more touches and passes than him. Ceballos was playing in a sort of number 10 role. It was very strange. Anyway, Bale and Casemiro got the other goals, and Real now have 10 goals in 4 Champions League games, meaning only 3 teams in the competition have scored more, and those are Man City, Barcelona, and PSG. So as much as they've struggled to score in other competitions, and as much as they had that horrible run under Lopetegui, they've actually been fine in the Champions League for the most part. On the other hand, Victoria Pilsen, first Champions League campaign for them since 13-14. They've conceded 14 in 4 games. They've been on the receiving end of 2 5-0 batterings from Roma and Real. Not exactly a dream for them, but you know what? They'll be delighted to play at the Bernabeu, and like, you know, they're in the Champions League. They're in the biggest club competition in Europe. Like, fair play to them. You're gonna get some batterings. In 13-14, which was their debut UCL campaign, they got 5 points out of a group containing Barcelona, Milan and Bate Borisov. This year, just 1 point so far. So I don't think they're getting out of the group, to be honest.
No, I think they might already be out.
I think it's gone. I think Roma and Real both on 10 points.
Can they even get Europa League? Probably just.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, we're obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I hope they don't make the Europa League. Anyway, Los Blancos' next game is away at Roma on the 27th. Before that, they actually go to Celta Vigo in La Liga. So a couple of tougher fixtures, and that'll be a real test of whether there has been any improvement under Solari. If they win that game against Roma, then obviously they're likely to top the group because they've got a game against CSKA and Moscow to finish off the group stage. So all looks kind of okay for Real Madrid. It's one of those things, isn't it, where they can fail and fail and fail and they're still basically fine.
Yeah, and yeah, the Champions League does seem to be something where they just somehow turn it on, don't they? So yeah, let's hope that doesn't continue for too long, because a fourth in a row would just be
obnoxious,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, obscene.
So that's all we have time for on Champions League review for this week. Where should they go next, Pato?
Head over to Eurofootball Daily and check out Stat Wars the League, which is still in full effect. Is that you versus Doogie?
Me versus Doogie, yeah.
That's a huge heavyweight match. So obviously check that out. And right here on Football Daily, there will be the Football Social live stream this weekend covering the Manchester Derby on Sunday. So if you want to watch coverage of that with all the boys from Football Daily and Soccer AM, then make sure you tune in. And we'll see you next time.